What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Movie Raised.
With how much fame Riverdale is gaining throughout their 5 seasons, it is only fair to say that not all things they have considered would make the cut. Different storylines and just plain weird scenes are the small part of what they had to cut so you can have the Riverdale you all know and love. But if you want to dig deeper and explore some of the scenes that were cut, continue watching, because here are the 10 strange things that were cut from Riverdale. Number 10. History of Pops. We all know the famous diner Pops, where everyone hangs out, and it has become one of the few places that is constantly shown throughout the show. Although it's shown in almost every episode, there was one particular scene they filmed that for some reason they decided to cut from the show and not use it at all. The scene walks us through the diner where Jughead narrates the history of Riverdale through the diner, and we get to see all of our favorite characters dressed like they are in the 50s, 60s, 70s, up till today. This scene is definitely a good fit for what the show is trying to portray, but we guess the producers thought it might be a bit too much for the fans to handle.
A place to meet and fall in love and start a family, where our grandparents took our parents.
Number 9. Prank calls. This scene shows all the girls, including Betty, Veronica, Toni, and Josie, all at a sleepover at Cheryl's house, while naturally it transforms into murder and mayhem. But what we didn't get the chance to see is where both Betty and Cheryl decide to prank call Chick and Claudius. Even though they thought this little silly prank would be only that, for one character it got a bit too creepy. When it was Betty's turn to call Claudius and prank him, instead of him hanging up the phone or getting creeped out, he actually went along with it, which left all of the girls confused, and Betty in particular was so shocked that she didn't know what to do. At the end, this scene was cut from the episode.
Do you want to play?
I do.
Oh.
Do you need to be punished? Have you been
Number 8. The Note. During the musical episode, a bunch of things happened, but also a lot of things were cut. For example, we get to see FP getting the short shift when Pops wasn't to take a girl to the musical. When FP makes it home, we see Jughead getting his camera ready for the musical, although it is not the reason why this scene is not in the show. When FP entered the room, you can see him placing a note on the table with Alice's name on it. We can only assume this meant that FP wanted to make amends with Alice through the note, and is headed to the musical to find her. We would have to love to see this happen. Unfortunately, the producers had other plans for them.
Well, your old man can't get dressed up for the theater every once in a while?
Wait, you're coming to the musical? Why?
Number 7. Ghost Table. We all got to see Cheryl Blossom setting her house on fire back in season 1, together with her mother, Penelope, inside of it. And even though most of her recovery was off-screen, they also filmed one scene where we can see Penelope all tied up around her head. The scene shows us part of her recovery, as well as how she copes with the loss of her son and husband. She is shown setting the table and still adding extra 2 plates for her dead son and husband, while Cheryl makes a joke about ghosts coming to dinner. The reason why this scene didn't make the cut is still unknown, but we would have loved to see more of Penelope's recovery after the fire.
May he who had a hand in Jason's demise, however small, sit in old Sparky and burn. Sounds like Nana Blossom agrees.
Number 6. The hospital scene. Speaking of Cheryl's crazy family, this scene shows us Cheryl sitting in a hospital room next to her grandmother while Toni walks in. Their relationship has to be literal goals each time we see them together, and this just shows how emotional Cheryl can be. It shows Cheryl telling Toni how scared she is for her grandmother's life, although she should be more scared about her own. It shows us a sneak peek of pre-relationship Toni, and shows how much love and care they treat each other. To be honest, we are a bit sad why this scene didn't make it, but we do get to enjoy more amazing moments from both of them.
And Toni, I am here for my Nana, but not in the way you think.
Number 5. The Rose. Speaking of Toni, there was one more scene before the musical episode where we see Cheryl bringing a rose to Toni, telling her good luck, and recaps what happened when Cheryl confronted her mother, slathered in blood, holding a candelabra. They share a kiss by the end of the scene, and we are left shocked on why they cut this scene, where in the show the couple have only shared one kiss, and this scene would have been quite a big deal for all Toni fans, but we guess they had different plans for them in the future. Still, we get to enjoy this deleted scene over and over as much as we want, and give our own twist to the story.
You are so hot right now. Tell me something I don't know. See you after the show.
Number 4. Birthday Present. Although there are a lot of Bughead scenes that didn't make it on the show, this one definitely caught our attention. The scene shows us Betty and Jughead as Betty gives him a present, that ends up being his stuffed animal hot dog that she kept all along. The scene continues with Jughead narrating the story, but we couldn't help but go, "Aww," throughout the scene, which leaves us feeling confused on to why this was the scene that ended up being removed from the show. Although we are all for more adorable scenes from Betty and Jughead, we have to assume this one didn't fit the show just right, but we are happy we got the chance to see it still.
A gunshot in July brings together the perfect girl next door and a loner weirdo from the South Side.
Number 3, Cheryl and Penelope. Throughout the show, Cheryl and her mother have never had the best relationship, but while looking at this scene, we can clearly see why they didn't include it in the show. Let's just say it includes Cheryl, her mother, and a third character. It shows Cheryl walking into a room with her mother and another man, ruining their time together. This scene is so jaw-dropping from the outfits and the content of the entire scene that even the producers knew that this might be a step too far. We would love to know your thoughts about this scene and whether you think this would be appropriate to include in the actual show. Let us know in the comment section below.
Excuse me.
Number 2, the red circle. This scene includes a lot, and it definitely makes the right connections that were left out in the episode. It starts with Archie talking to Jughead and convincing him to join his insane, shirtless vigilante gang, the Red Circle. While Jughead is making his jokes about his little gang, Veronica walks in telling Archie that he is invited to dinner with her parents and she won't take no for an answer. This truly shows a bit of how Veronica's character is evolving through the show and how she is determined to see if her dad can act the way he should for one night. It's quite a shame they skipped on this scene. We would have loved to actually see it with the rest of the episode.
I have incredible news, Archiekins. Jughead, could you please excuse us for 1 sec? Burger's on me.
Number 1, Alice and Betty. Even though we don't get to see a lot of cut scenes with FP and Alice, we do get to see Alice and Betty and their relationship. We get to see Alice angry over her killer husband, making scrapbooks while Betty gets a call from the hospital, as well as an emotional scene where Alice tells Betty that she found her brother and they both end up at the graveyard. Alice continues the scene with talking how if she would just stay with FP, her son would be alive. She discovered he was cremated years earlier and left in an unmarked grave, but it definitely raised the question on why they didn't give the entire Chick Charles thing some closure. It could just be cut to keep the whole plot open-ended, or just for time. Either way, we were happy to see that Alice got some closure on her son, even if it meant that it was in a deleted scene.
Do you know what happens to the dead when they're unclaimed?
No.
Their bodies are cremated, and their ashes are buried in a single mass grave.
On a related note, we wanted to know, do you know any other strange things that were cut from Riverdale that we didn't mention? Let us know in the comment section below. If you'd like to see more amazing videos such as this one, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss any of them. And as always, thanks for watching, guys.